Hi, it's Kate from the Easy Living Centre and this is Lesley.
Hello.
We're just here to talk about mobility devices, and particularly today we're going to focus on the frame. So I'm not sure if any of you guys have seen this frame before. It's often given to people who are leaving hospital. It's got its advantages and disadvantages. One of the things I really like about just the basic frame is that obviously it offers support when you're walking, but it folds up really nicely and you can keep it close to your body
and light.
It's light. So it is quite a good transportable frame. Disadvantages, as you will probably have seen on a lot of the frames with wheels, they have a seat, which is great for when you get tired. Some of the frames that you would have seen actually don't have wheels at the front. They are particularly tricky to walk with, however they are very stable. So if you imagine this one's just got the stoppers, sorry we don't have any to show you, but it would mean that you have to pick the frame up and then take usually two steps in. So you would pick it up and take 2 steps in. So, like I said, nice and stable. The thing I like about the wheels is you don't have to pick it up. You can just push it along the floor. So you've always got the frame touching the floor, and it feels like it's not necessarily going to run away with you. So
it's gripping on the back. So
yeah,
it's
if you did suddenly feel a bit wobbly, you could put your weight through it, and it will stop. So it's not going to run away with you, which is why it doesn't have brakes.
You can also alter the height through these areas through here, just by pressing the little button in and changing that height. And again, the height you would use the same as what you would use for a walker or a walking stick. Because it always keep it through when you bend your wrists like this, and it comes onto that hip line here.
So that's the basic frame. Lesley, which one would you say is probably one of your popular items that we sell at the shop?
This blue one here is probably our most popular. It's very light, so it's easy for someone to lift and put into a car, because they do tend to be quite heavy. It's got the rounded back on it, so when you sit down, it's actually quite comfortable through the back. Also, you can use the arms as a rest through here. It has quite a big area to put your bits and pieces in, your purse and your bits of shopping. And you can alter the length through here. So you just undo this here and you can lift the handle to make it fit to where you need it to be. And again, it applies the same as always keep it onto that hip line. This is good for me. It's probably on its lowest because I am a bit of a shorty, so I need to have it as low as it can be. It's not too low that I am stooping over, but also I can weight bear on it if I need to, and that's really important to be able to do that.
So they're not frames, they're called rollator frames, are always, they're not always the same, as you'll see. They look similar, but actually point of difference is the size of the wheels. Lesley's one is quite a bit bigger, which obviously is much better for going outdoors and around these horrible pavements.
Yeah, terrible pavements. This is I think it's a 7.5 or 7.5 to 8 inch.
But obviously if you're using it indoors, that's going to be quite different. So you're maybe not needing the larger wheels. So now folding them up, Lesley, this one thing I always notice is once you've folded them, which is great. Oh, very well.
Grab that bar underneath.
Right, Lesley's, does yours fold?
If you pull up this bar through the middle, you'll see the wheels fold into each other, and you can hold on to that bar and hold on to the armrest. Easy to lift. That means you've got control of it, that you can pop it into the boot or onto the back seat, or sometimes if there's enough room it can slide down between the passenger seat and the back seat of the car. And that makes it easier.
It is actually best if you keep hold of that middle brace, because if you don't, which is what I tend to do, you see the wheels flopping around.
See what happens there?
They're not the easiest.
No, they're not.
Things.
But if you don't do that, it will flop around, and you won't, when you go to put it in the boot, you will have quite a lot of problems actually getting it into the boot. It becomes quite heavy. So
that's actually why I like this one, which is not commonly, it's not a common frame. I've not seen that many of them, but it's called a scissor frame, and it's basically the way it folds is quite different. And it's got a little clip, I don't know if you can see that flicks over and keeps it together. So you couldn't leave that in a folded position without it either unfolding or falling over. I quite like that, and as you can see, it's still got a nice base of support. It's got your backrest, it's got a little seat, it's got the flat handles.
and quite large wheels.
I did something very naughty. I didn't put the brakes on. So, brakes, really important. When you're going to sit down on the chair, you should make sure the brakes are on. Luckily, I didn't go very far. The two ways of putting a brake on, and when you're stationary, it's definitely best to push them down. But when you're walking down a slope, so you're walking along and it's the aid starts going a little bit fast for you, you can put your brakes on to slow it down. And you'll have that on anything with four wheels. You've got to have brakes. So that is a really important part. These little fins are quite nice. They seem to be on most of these. Oh no, they're not on that one, but they're quite nice because you can, again, when you've got arthritic hands, you can keep your hand flatter.
It protects that.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Through the hand.
This is actually quite a nice one, I have to say, to walk with. Again, it's got those big wheels.
And flatter through here, which sometimes when you brake, it holds
it does.
quite firmly.
And you've got this little, I don't know what they call that.
A tipper.
Tipper.
Yeah.
Thing you can push on the back with your foot. It tips it, so if you're going up a curb, if there's no slope, you can actually tip the device and go up the curb that way. I guess that makes it easier to get in the car as well, because if you were to hold it up, you could do the same thing. In between the two seats, the front seat and the back seat, you could tip it, pop it over the edge of the car door
And roll it.
and roll it in. And a lot of people find that's much easier than trying to lift the whole thing and put it in the back of the car that way. That's very awkward. Anything else you want to add, Lesley? Always make sure it's clipped down. You will hear clicks. That's a good sign, usually, to show
The
that
other
the
one
frame
we
is in place.
do have, now this one here
Gosh, that's a big one, isn't it?
is a walker plus a wheelchair. Now it's a wheelchair for just short times, not for a full-time wheelchair, but if you're out for the day and you become tired, you can then sit in it and someone can push you. This part here can fold back, these can come off the front, and then you just use it as a walker, and when you need to sit down, brake and sit. So it's an ideal walker wheelchair if you're traveling, or if you're going out with friends and you can't walk a long distances, but you do want to enjoy the day. So this here can work for both.
Cool. When you're looking at any frame and you want it for indoor use, you just best to make sure you measure the door widths, internal door widths, because you will see that this one's a little bit narrower, but some of them are actually quite wide, and you want to make sure that you're going to be able to actually use your frame for the purpose you bought it for. So yeah, it's always good to check the widths of the corridors and the doors. And the other thing I would say is if you are falling regularly, it's a very good idea to talk to your GP first before you consider buying something like this. They may feel that you need a physiotherapy assessment to determine which frame is going to be best for you. It may be that there's some underlying medical cause that's contributing to you falling. It could be that you have low blood pressure or the medication's making you dizzy. So it is really important to make sure that the falls are not due to a lack of balance. It could be that it's something else going on. So always get that checked out, because I always worry, and especially with these ones, that if you were to just black out and you fell down, this wouldn't do anything for you to stop you having a blackout, but it would really hurt because you'll be falling on lots of metal. So it's always worth getting checked out. But that's our selection.
Yeah.
Hope
And we
this has been
we do have a number of other pieces in store that you could come and have a look at. So it's best to come in, have a chat to the girls in store, and they will let you have a feel and see which is best for you, because really it's about your comfort and what you feel more supportive to you.
Thank you.